607 days, alone, trapped, uncertain. Most of us can't imagine it, and yet he survived. What breaks most people only made him stronger. Why? Because he chose to keep going, even when it was hard, even when it seemed impossible. And that choice, that power, is inside you too. Ladies, and gents of course, hear this. The hard things you've been avoiding, the dreams you've been delaying, you can do them. You are stronger than you remember. You are more capable than you realize. Resilience, courage, freedom, they are all choices and they are all yours to claim. So lean in, listen, feel it all, and let Ariane's story remind you that you can endure, that you can rise, that you can do hard things, starting right now.
Ariane, I know that you're there. If you would love to join us, and a big welcome to you, and a big thank you for being here.
Yes. Good afternoon or good morning for me here.
Yeah.
Thanks for
all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
All over the world. Ariane, thank you for being here with Women to Wealth. And, you know, this is a call and a partnership that Jen and I are truly grateful and honoured to have created with you guys. Yep. And we just want to get into a conversation with you. You know, we've been sharing with our community, you know, to actually hear from someone who has truly experienced what freedom being taken away is, like to be in captivity for 607 days. You know, it's only that complete polarization, and that when something gets taken away at that level that you understand what you truly have. So for everyone who maybe doesn't know your story yet, can you just share with us, take us back, what happened in Dagestan? What was that experience like? And how do you think it's really started to shape you? Just take us back to how it started.
Yeah, that's always a difficult question, because how can you share a story of 607 days in a couple of minutes, of course. I was working with Doctors Without Borders, which is a humanitarian aid organization in Chechnya and Dagestan, which is part of Russia. And there was a civil war with radical Muslims trying to fight the Russian government for independence. And we were giving assistance to the refugees, and we knew there were kidnappings taking place. And at a certain moment, I was sitting in the car. My car was blocked together with the driver. We were wondering what's going on, because a different car blocked us. And then suddenly 4 guys came out with their guns in their hand, and they walked towards our car. So I saw them through the window. And suddenly I decided to step out, so I surrendered. I thought, okay, I don't want any shooting. I don't want the driver to be hurt. And then they beat me up completely for 2-3 minutes. So I really thought they were going to kill me. But luckily they dragged me into their car. They put a gun on my head here. They put a gun on my chest. And then we drove off into captivity. And I knew it might take 5 to 6 months, because kidnappings are happening all the time in that area. I might be beheaded, because that also happens. Maybe raped, maybe cut off my ears, cut off my fingers. So I was really, really scared, of course. Worried, hopeless, helpless. All these elements going through my mind, like, how is it to die? How is it not to see my family anymore? And then suddenly you realize what a lack of freedom means. Going to the toilet with people standing behind you, which is very humiliating. Not being able to have contact with anyone. The kidnapper said, we didn't want to kidnap you yet. So we didn't have a house to go. We were just camping, basically, in the forest. And then after 1 week, they handed me over to a group of really hardcore radical Muslim rebels. They had a hideout under the ground somewhere higher up in the mountains. And there I stayed for 607 days. I'll show you a little bit about how my room looked. It's not the real room, but at least it looked a little bit like that room. Yeah, and then there's lots of pain, lots of worries, of course, lots of anger in the beginning, because you don't know how to behave, because it's such a big change of life. So this was my room. I stayed here for 20 months, and it was, I don't know if you're in yards or meters, it was 2 meters by 1.5 meter, full of insects. I only had one candle. Yeah, and then of course in the beginning you feel all the injustice, like why me? What did I do to the world? What did I do to deserve this? But yeah, you know that it's not going to change my room. But it took me 2 weeks to realize, yeah, I can cry whatever I want. I can be angry. I can be full of negativity. But then I also have to realize I have to change this situation, and that's what I mean. This, everyone knows the word growth mindset, and don't wait for others to bring happiness. But then how to make yourself happy again, and what to do to change your life. That was really very painful in the beginning. But like you said, sometimes you have to find the courage within yourself, or you have to find the resilience, or all the powers you wonder about. Do you have them or not? But I think, like you said in the beginning, everyone has it inside, but we didn't touch it yet, or maybe we didn't open up ourselves. And here I had to open up, and I had to be disciplined. I had to control my emotions. I had to control my power. I had to control my words. But on the other side, I also needed to make contact with all my own powers, but also with the kidnappers, because they were the only one who could change my situation. And that's what I'm proud of the most. I kept my dignity. I didn't want to become a Muslim. I didn't sweet talk to them, but slowly by showing who I am, that I'm a human being, that they should also look after me. I improved the situation. It never becomes nice, because every day, 607 days for every day, I had the worry that they would cut my throat. And sometimes I was thinking of that, and thinking, how would it feel if you feel all the blood coming from your throat into your clothing? Do you feel the way you're dying? Will you start? All this. Sometimes I looked before, because I knew I was going to this area that people like air bells come out, or how you call it, when you're dying. So of course I was worried. I was worried never to see my family again. I was 32 at that moment, and I was sometimes even crying for my mother. Please, Mama, can I sit on your lap? Can we have tea together? But also I had a very nice girlfriend, so she became really powerful for me. So I changed the way I use my imagination. You can have positive imagination, but lots of people also have negative imagination. Like, I'm not good enough. It's not going to work. I will fail. But I realized the negativity doesn't help as long as you don't use it to make it into something positive. So I thinking about my girlfriend as she became more and more beautiful, for example. And then I thought, I also have to look much better. So I started to work out. I started to make push-ups, to work on my six-pack. And then even the kidnapper said, you should be happy to be kidnapped. I said, why? Yeah, because you look much more athletic now than at the moment you entered here. So I started to think about things. How can I improve? And every day should be a little bit better than the day before. And there were 13 kidnappers in total. They rotated, but I wanted to make contact with all of them. And I think that's also really important. We always look for people that we already like, and we don't go to people that we are afraid of or that we don't really know. But those people we can also embrace and put into our network, and so we can grow much faster than if we always go to the same people. So I managed to make contact. Sometimes the hard way. I had to fight once. They wanted to have some fight club night, but of course I don't want to It's not a nice thing to fight with your kidnappers, because what's going to happen if you lose, but also what's going to happen if you win with the guy that I beat up, because maybe he will hate me, or maybe he will try to shoot me afterwards. But luckily, yeah, we in the beginning I didn't want to beat him too much, but then he beat me so much that I had a big black eye. And then I started to fight back, and he said, "Yeah, please go back to your room. You showed that you can fight." And then he came into my room to I think first to look if he hit me very hard, because I had a black eye, and he was proud of it. But then he was very nice. They always were wearing masks, and he puts off his mask and he said, "Yeah, you also hit me." So slowly, it took yeah, a couple of months, of course, but I got more and more respect from them, and I also started to appreciate them and showing a little bit of gratitude that although they kidnapped me, they also started, yeah, to behave in a more human way towards me. So I think this humanity, looking after each other, but also really standing up for yourself. Sometimes, yeah, in the Netherlands, you say you have to, yeah, beat up yourself sometimes and beat up someone else sometimes to make the next step. And that's why I like boxing, for example, or any other martial art. Then yeah, you have to hit someone else, but sometimes you're hit also, and that makes you grow.
Ariane, as I listen to you, and ladies, let us know in the comments if you agree with this. The thought that always goes through my head is this stuff happens in movies. You know, like we can be so detached from it. You know, there's part of us that knows there's horrible things that go on in the world, but I think there's so much and this is just me personally, where I'm so detached from it though. Like that doesn't happen in real life. And to experience that, and to have you here sharing those stories. One, we're gonna dive into your mindset, because I think that is one of your superpowers, clearly, that you would have learned from that experience. But can I ask you, how did captivity shape your understanding or your freedom? Your relationship with freedom?
Yeah, I think it's more about mental freedom that I learned than normal freedom, because of course you're looking for, yeah, normal freedom. I mean that you can do whatever you want, but of course I wanted to be free and go home, sit in the sun, drink a beer, have sex again, see my parents. So all these things you do when you're free. But then when I came back, I was suddenly very famous in the Netherlands, which I didn't realize. But for 20 months I was in the newspapers and all over the media. And then, for example, I mumbled something when I landed about football, because I'm a big football fan. And that day, the Rotterdam team played a draw against the Amsterdam team. And then, yeah, the Rotterdam team was like, "Yeah, you must be the biggest fan, because after 20 months, the first thing you say is something about Feyenoord." That's how they're called. So they said, "Do you want to have free tickets for the rest of your life?" I said, "Yes, of course. It would be very funny." And then they said, "Okay, do you want to have it in the middle of the stadium or in a small room with the chairman?" And I didn't know I was so famous, because it was really the first day afterwards. And I was a bit shy and a bit modest and impressed with everything. So I said, "Yeah, let's do it in a small, in your cabinet, and then I can have the tickets." But then I walked into the stadium, and lots of people, yeah, they saw me and they started already clapping. But then I realized, yeah, I should have done it in the center of the field, because then 50,000 people would have yelled at me, and yeah, a big applause. But then I missed because of modesty or shyness. And then another thing happened. Yeah, you should write a book. You should write a book about your adventure. Let's call it that way. But then I thought, yeah, I'm not able to write a book. I've never written a book. How does it work? And I started with a ghostwriter, but he wrote a completely different story than I wanted. And I started myself. And then I realized, yeah, even though I have my freedom, I don't use my mental freedom. And so since then, when I started realizing that, like, yeah, after 607 days, you're still not mentally completely free. You should really work on it. And I think most people, of course, I don't know you, they always have this little voice trying to and not everyone, but most people, they're trying to keep them smaller, or not starting to do things, or you don't have the discipline, or you don't have the structure. Because motivation is nice, but you still have to have discipline, of course. But so the big change is I see much more opportunities than before, and I really start following the opportunities, because you can see opportunities, but if you don't do anything with it. And so what I learned, better fail than not starting.
No, I can imagine I think that's such a beautiful thing, because opportunities are all around us, but often we can't see them because our mind is in the way, right? Like our stories are in the way, our limitations are in the way we view the world is in the way. And you got, I imagine, completely stripped of that. And so to be able to see opportunity and then follow through with it, like what do you wish more people understood about freedom and following opportunity and taking action and having courage, that the average person, often we don't step into that in our full capacity? Like, what did you learn? What would you pass on to us?
So let yourself being kidnapped for maybe a couple of days, and
without doing that.
Yeah, without doing that. Yeah. I think you should just grow in any matter how, because everyone has, for example, physically sport. It's the easiest example. Even people don't. I can look around, but look at myself also. Now I'm, instead of 90 kilograms, I'm 95 kilograms. And you can say, why don't you go back to 90? Because you don't have the discipline, or maybe not really the motivation. So you should always do things that you're afraid of, and go over the border. Really cross the border, cross the difficult steps, because then you definitely learn, and then you can be proud that you tried. If you fail, or proud that you managed if you started and do it. But if you don't do it, then there's only the negativity about yourself. Yeah, I didn't do it. It was too difficult. I didn't have time. So all the excuses don't make you grow, of course, and it doesn't give you a better self-esteem either.
Ariane, talk to us about Free a Girl. How did that come about for you and the other co-founders?
Free a Girl is an organization that fights the sexual. Sorry, help me. Exploitation of girls, minor girls. And we started in 2008, and I didn't know much about it before 2006. After I was kidnapped, I started working on a TV program, and then a guy walked in. Like, I'm having a program in India, rescuing girls from sexual exploitation, and then building shelters. And then he told me the story, and I thought, wow, that's such a wonderful charity, because I felt connected, because I was in 2008, lots of girls in India were really kept in cages as the size of a mattress, and then they had to sit there all day waiting for their clients. They couldn't even clean up. They even have pillows with Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse, so that they are really children, but they have to do all the bad things. And then because I felt connected, other people, I felt during my kidnapping, sometimes lost or forgotten, that no one else did something for me. And then I realized those kids, they are sitting in even much more misery. They don't have strong parents. They don't have a government that fights for them. I know how it is to be rescued, to get a second start, and that's why I started. Every life that you can save is really a big change for that person. And you can say, what is the difference of one person? But for them, it's really the difference between the dark life and a new life. And the same for my colleagues. We started with 4 people, all from the Netherlands, and everyone has their own reason, but to give back freedom to children, to let them reunite with their parents, to let them be a child again. That's what our mission was, and knowing that exists, I thought, that's what I'm going to fight for. And you can fight for cancer or against for something for monkeys or whatever. It's fine, whatever you choose. But for me, this really fitted with my story, with my own story, and I wanted to give freedom back to other to children.
Is there a story that sticks with you of a young girl or multiple girls that you guys have rescued? Is there anything that you can share with us there?
No, it's even worse because we didn't rescue her. And it's more about her mother. So I was in India in 2011 in really the worst, let's call it brothel. It's like an old house, leaking, dark, smelling bad. And there was a family, no, not a family, there were all kind of women, major women, and some children. So I asked one of the mothers, like, why are you still here? And she said, because I feel safe here. So I didn't understand. How can you feel safe in such a place, and why do you want your children to be raised in such a place? And then she said, yeah, I've been moved so many times, and now finally I have a situation where I feel free, and I want to work here, and then I want to bring up my child in freedom. And her child didn't work there, luckily, but just the idea that someone feels so feels freedom in that way, I thought that is really the worst of the worst. And luckily at the end we managed to make her move and feel safe also outside of that place, because imagine if you were there from 14, 15, you don't know another life, and you're always under pressure that you might be sold, that you might end up in a worse place, so that you feel free and feel safe in a brothel where it's really the worst of the worst, and you want to keep your child there. That's what really touched me so much, because we should change that. And of course I've seen girls, and there's Dunya, there's also a very nice Nepalese girl, Sisi, and I like the resilience in people, that you know the story. I never want to talk about the story because I'm a man. I don't want to end up in all kind of Me Too situations, but I always like it when they start shining again and telling how free a girl and the local partners help them to go back to their houses, to go back to their family, how they are reunited. Sometimes I meet the people, sorry for talking too much, see the parents who still are looking for their children. And then I see the pain of my parents. I've never seen the pain of my parents, of course, but if you see two hopeless people almost having no power anymore, and that we as Free a Girl are their last hope to try to find their children, then I always realize, my parents also had that situation. They were also hoping for someone else to find their son again, and so it's not one story. Sorry for that, Nick, but it's the whole package.
No, please don't apologize.
And that's what we should all do. If we are all, I don't know you, of course, but we are all free. Maybe we all have at least some medium income, and so we can always help other people. And let's try to see how we can stop it, or at least rescue some more girls, and nowadays also some guys as well, boys.
Oh, absolutely. And please don't apologize. No one is going to be sick of hearing your story and your wisdom and everything that you have learned. There's just so much in there. And it really lands differently from someone who's had such the experience that you have. I think it just really lands differently. So we need to get voices like yours out, and so that we can get.
Thanks for having me here. Then we can spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. With Free a Girl, tell us, what is it? Because we're going to be dropping a couple of things in a minute, but what's the goal? What's the vision for you guys, and how can individuals just like us, how can we really contribute and help spread the awareness?
Yeah, I always am fighting with my colleagues about it, because one of my colleagues always says we have to stop completely all sexual exploitation of minors, and then I say, but that's impossible. But of course you have to set the goals really high. But the more we rescue, the better, because there's almost all over the world 1 million little girls being exploited, and that's really horrible. So we just need money for investigation, for rescuing, for building up the shelters, for schooling, for returning them to their houses. So sharing intelligence, sharing the message, that can already help. But at the end, it never sounds nice to say, but it's always the money that helps the most, because you can say, yeah, we help with laptops or we help with, but that's always more difficult to get there. Then you have to translate them from Australian into Hindu or all these kind of things. So basically, what you can do, I think, in your own community is raise awareness yourself. Maybe organize an event, maybe donate, maybe you know some companies that you know the owner. So spread the word in your own surrounding, but also really try to raise money. That's really the best. And sharing maybe the political voice that because we're not allowed to do it, because then lots of funders don't want to give us funding, but that at least we can also improve the situation within the countries for access to justice, so that once someone is arrested, that he's really going to be jailed, do it again. That they're not waiting at schools or at sports clubs with young ladies trying to lure someone to into this evil exploitation. Yeah, something like this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you have to come up with your own ideas, and maybe that's a nice way to start working on progress. I don't think it's very difficult to raise or to start an event, but also maybe share 4-5 women that know each other here from the group, and that you start saying, yeah, we're going to, in Perth or Sydney or wherever you live, the biggest event in the neighborhood, and we set a goal, maybe 10,000, I don't know, 100,000, 500,000. Dream big, and if it becomes smaller, we're also happy, and the girls are also happy, because every life is really a big change. Every rescue is such a big change. You can't imagine if, of course, some of you also have had hardship and horrible things, and then maybe you were afraid to help someone, to ask for help. But once you got the assistance and you got the help, it makes a difference for you. But some girls, they really don't have anyone that helps them.
Yeah, I think that is, it's the point that I want all of us to take away as well. It's not to minimize anyone's hardship or tough time or challenges. Every single one of us go through that in different ways, and it's not to compare or minimize it. I look at it and I go, a lot of the challenges that I know that I personally face, they're actually my opportunities. I get to have the challenge. I get to figure that shit out. I get to get creative. I get to choose. I get to be in charge of things. But her challenge is a prison.
Yeah.
So when we say we get to choose what makes us fulfilled, when we get to choose to do hard things, when we get to choose our thoughts and our own limitations, she doesn't. Like, her peace, her choice, her rights, her dreams, they've been stripped away from her. Most of us just shy away from them. It's a whole different thing. And so,
thanks. Of course, I'm not an English native speaker, but that's the difference. We have an opportunity, but they don't, and they can try to make their prison as nice as possible, but they're still in prison. Let's call it a prison. That's the same with my story. I managed to make it a better place, but it's still not your freedom. Yeah, nice, Nick. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Jen, anything that you'd love to just add or wrap up? Because I'm just going to bring up a link for those of you who want to get to know you, Ariane, just better understand your story, understand what you do. So let me do that, and I'll let you continue on, Jen.
I think what strikes me most about this whole conversation is that we all are in a prison of sorts, but some of us create our own prison with our thoughts. And these girls, they don't. They haven't created their own prison, and that's the big difference. But every single one of us, if we're playing small, if we're taking it easy today, if we're, not becoming the best version of ourselves, if we're not really living into our fullest potential, we're creating our own prison using our thoughts. And I think that's really what strikes me the most. And I know I can do more. And I know that all of you, But we all can do more, right? We can become more so that we can do more. Ariane, can you talk about just and we might have this on a slide coming up, I'm not sure, but the costs to free a girl?
Yeah, of course, it's not just free, because first you have to do the investigation, you have to get to the local partners, you have to work with the police, and once someone is free, you cannot say you're free and put them to the street. So we put a figure of $5,000 for the whole process, and then that's the amount, 5,000, and then it's including the investigation, the freedom, the rescue, and bringing them home, because most of them they go home. So but then if you have less money, we also have a very interesting program. Maybe I'm allowed to share it. It's called School for Justice. Some of the girls, of course, were already at school, and we offer them the chance, if they want to be the social change makers, if they want to share the stories, if they want to help their communities to prevent girls from ending up in the same place. We offer them the school fees or the university fees for all kind of studies related to justice. Let me share the story if it's okay for you.
Please.
No, I have to find it somewhere. And yeah, I love this program because it really rounds up everything we are taught. Yeah, we want them to be the lawyers and the prosecutors of the future. But I have here it is.
And my understanding, Ariane, is it's so much more effective if they become the lawyer in their culture, because they just have this deep inner knowing of how things work in their country. And so sending in a lawyer, for example, to fight for justice into a different culture, it just is nowhere near as effective.
No,
but
true. But they should also become the politicians or the judges that really change the system. Let me show it to you. You see the screen?
Yep.
For years, child prostitution has grown in India. For years, our girls were forced to take clients every day. For years, the men that visited and raped these girls could walk away unpunished. That is about to change. Free a Girl started the School for Justice. A school where rescued girls are educated to become the best lawyers and prosecutors in the country. To put everyone involved in child prostitution behind bars. And believe us, they are passionate to do so.
Yeah, and I think that's really a great program. And yeah, I was just thinking again. I don't know you, but organizing an event or organizing a new website or do something out of the normal things you do, that is already helping you to grow. Right? Because even going to the neighbor and ask for a $10 donation might be funny, but some people are shy to talk to other people, and then help a girl and help yourself to talk to someone else. That might already be a small step. Or you tell yourself, I want to lose some weight. Every kilogram I lose, I'm going to donate $100. It doesn't have to be much more difficult than this. This can be the smallest step. But of course, the big step is, I'm going to organize the greatest event on a boat in Monaco. But that makes it much more difficult for yourself. So start small, but maybe it even helps you to grow and use Free a Girl also to grow and yourself and to rescue one of the girls. So think, like Jen is saying, we all have the creativity within ourselves, but we all also have the power to limitate our own creativity, and that's what we should get rid of. Let it flow. Definitely.
Thank you for saying that, because it's also a perfect segue, because we are going to ask you ladies and all of our community to do exactly that, to do something that's hard, because what we think is hard can't even compare to a little girl who is another day waiting to see who walks through the door for the 10th time. Our hard isn't that hard. And we can really do hard stuff. And one thing that Jen and I know is that the more that we do it and prove that to ourselves, we build self-trust, we build self-respect, we build the things that we need as women. That, my gosh, all of us, like what we can do with the freedom and the opportunities that we have, you know, to really take advantage of that and do the hard stuff, so that, because she's waiting, right? She's just waiting there for someone to come and rescue her. So we got to be that someone. And so we're going to talk you all through what we're going to do as a Women to Wealth community to rescue one girl in 7 days' time.
So the theme of this challenge is she can't, so I will. And the idea is that where you get to choose whatever your thing is that is hard for you and commit to it for 3 days and show up every day and do that thing. And it could be something physical, it could be something mental, it could be whatever it is, whatever the thing is that you just been meaning to do, you've been thinking, I've got to get back to that. It might be a 3-day fast. It might be 3 days of workouts. It might be 3 days of 15,000 steps a day. It might be, in my business, I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to 10 people 3 days in a row. Whatever that thing is, it just feels like it's going to be a big ask for you. And then we're going to ask you after 3 days to jump into the Facebook group and to share what you've done, to share that you completed your 3-day challenge and share how it made you feel. Because we know that some of the ways it's going to make you feel is, oh, wow, I'm tougher than I thought. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself. I feel this level of confidence again. I respect myself for showing up and doing what I thought I couldn't do. And so that's going to be our 3-day challenge. And what we would love you to do is not only everyone who's on this call, and I know so many of you are listening to the recording of this call because the link was a big challenge tonight, or you couldn't make the call. But we'd love you to invite every woman that you love to do exactly the same, because this is the way out of the cage of our own making. This is the only way out. We're all in prison, but a prison that we're choosing with our own thoughts. And it's only by doing hard things that we can break those bars open and we can step out of our own cage and we can prove to ourselves that we're more. Mm-hmm. We're more capable, we're more powerful, and we have more potential than we're remembering right now.
Awesome. So let's break down how it's going to roll, ladies, which is all on here for you. And there is an entry form. So again, this is called the She Can't, So I Will. Like, we get to do the hard stuff, like Jen just said. We get to do this stuff, and what a privilege that we do, because it moves us forward. It moves us forward. It grows us in some way. It gives us a return in some way. She doesn't get to choose her hard. That one's pretty chosen for her. So for 3 days, that is it. We know that for 3 days, we can all do one hard thing. So our goal together is to raise $5,000 US in 7 days. Women to Wealth, we're going to kick it off with $1,000 just to get the momentum going. So we've got 4K to go as of this call. So you need to enter the challenge, which I'm going to bring it up here. Let me know if this entry link form works. If you click I'm in, and if not, I'll pop it in the chat thread. And this is going to be emailed out to all of you once we get the recording out as well within the next 24 hours. So there is the link. So that's the entry form. So if you go on there, it's super simple. You enter, we want you to do a face-to-face video, because imagine all of us, whether it's 20, 40, 100 women saying, I am doing this challenge because she can't, so I will. And this is what I'm committed to. And this is how we spread the awareness and the message for Free a Girl. And you can have others donate to what you're doing. You can do it yourself. It's really just about spreading the message and the awareness for that. So down the bottom of the entry page, we've given you hard examples in the sense of what could be personally, like inner hard stuff, financially, physically. So whether it be in your business, whether it be in your money, whether it be in your health, you can choose one different hard thing each day, or just one thing that you do for 3 days. That is hard. And the point is that, ladies, it moves you outside of your comfort zone. It grows you, it challenges you, it steps you into boldness, it steps you out of the bullshit excuses. That's the point. So pick the thing that you're going to do every day for 3 days, enter the challenge, and pass the invite on to another woman to do it with you. So just to touch on this a little bit, what you will also go into access is, over the next week, Jen and I are going to be sharing with you all and the whole network is a new program that we've created, and it's called the Unbound Blueprint. And Jen, you might want to chip in here too, but I know that the reason we've done this is we know that we can do more as well. We know that we can really help women figure some stuff out that they might be stuck with. You know, we're working with so many women in the Women to Wealth Method program in our community. There seems to be this practical step, this practical element to freedom that's missing. And what I mean by that is, hey, we can talk about it, we can post about it, we can have dreams and visions about it, but what do you do day to day to implement more freedom for your inner self, for your finances, and for your environment where you physically are, who you're bound to, what you're bound to, all of that. So when I mean practical, it's things like, no, I need to learn how to set up a decentralized space, but exactly how. And how do I go from not just having one bank that I rely on, and what would a multi-banking system look like? And how do I actually set that up? And how do I put these things in place? And it's the real practical element of becoming unbound. Because if we're not unbound, we are bound to likely someone else, maybe a place, maybe a paycheck, maybe others' expectations, whatever it may be. And the point is, how do we do something every day and every week that is practical to create freedom as a reality? And so we are stepping it out. Like, you won't get everything done in this 3-week program, because there's going to be a whole workbook where you can work through it and go, this week I need to implement that action to create more freedom in my life. Next week I need to implement that action to create more. And the whole point is, we get to step into sovereignty, right? We get to step into and be in charge of our freedom, and she doesn't. And Jen and I have just seen that there's a gap in the practical implementation, and that's what this program is going to be. Anything you'd love to add to that, Jen?
No, I think you summed that up perfectly, Nick.
Okay, awesome. So we've got the breakdown of how it's going to roll, ladies. And then let me bring up, again, I'm just going to put it in the chat section because the link doesn't seem to work. But this is the goal, right? Like, together, collectively. $5,000. We've got 4 to go. $4,000 to go in 7 days. This time next week, we want to say we're freeing a girl.
Yeah, will be great. Thanks already for the first donation, of course. Will you have a meeting next week as well?
Yeah, we would love that with an update. I'm going to bring it up here. Give me a tick, ladies.
Did you pop the link in the chat? Oh, we'll see if this button works.
Let's see if that works. If not, I'm going to pop it in the chat.
It's not working either, so we'll pop the link.
Awesome. And these will go out in the email for you too, ladies. So we have done up this donation page, and you'll read on there. So we're going to collect all donations, and by November the 7th, it is being transferred to Free a Girl. So we've got these 7 days to collectively do this together. And I don't know, maybe write in the chat section, but truly, like, if we all jump back on a call in 7 days, or Jen and I will update through all communication, and you know that you contributed to freeing a girl, like, how does that feel for you with everything that you've just heard from Ariane and the mission of Free a Girl? Like, I just so want to be part of that. And I think so many women do, because we can make that difference. Awesome.
Excellent. I'm also thinking, Nick and Ariane, that now that we have kind of a first call done, I wonder about repeating this call in the future. I don't know whether we could do one before the end of the year or early next year, and all of us could really think about our networks, and we could use this recording. And so if anyone's been sent this recording and listening to it, I'm thinking of some really powerful women in my space who have really big networks. And I think if we all come together and we collaborate together, and we have so many women that, and some of us might only have 5, but some people have a network of 500, or they know an influencer who has, 1 million followers. But I think that there would be very few women in the world who this wouldn't touch their heart. Because if we don't have our own daughters, I mean, I just think for a moment about my daughter being stolen, and it's unbearable. It's unbearable, and I think there's 2 million parents out there who are in that feeling every minute of that unbearable every single day. Imagine not knowing, and I have to do something. And so we can give our personal funds, and that's wonderful, but that's tiny compared to when we bring more and more women together and we just invite and we unite, and not just waiting until the day before the call to go, oh, you should come to this. We can start straight away. We can start saying, hey, I know you've got a really big brain with a really big network, and I know you've created some amazing things. Can you help me with this? Because we really have to do something, because no one else is. I mean, the amazing people who are helping Free a Girl, but the governments, the big groups, people don't believe they don't even believe it's real. They don't believe it happens. They don't want to know that there is this much evil in the world. They don't want to let their mind go there. But it's so real, and what are we going to do about it? And we just get to feel good, right? Like, we win. We win. Imagine, and this first girl that we free as Women to Wealth, she's just the first one. I know there's going to be so many more, and we're the start of it. This is not just Nick and I. It's all of us. It's all of you. We need all of you, and we need all of the women that you know as well. But until we know that this is a real problem, and until we know that there's a real solution, and what Ariane's created with Free a Girl is the solution, then people don't know to lean into it, because people see these things and go, but what can I do? How could I possibly help? And they feel powerless. But we can help. We can make all of the difference for all of these girls. So,
yeah, nice.
Ariane,
yeah,
thank you.
We are able to make a movement. If we're able to make a big movement, yeah, we can make a big change, definitely. I was wondering if there's any questions. Do we have time for questions, or I don't want to take over the role of the moderator.
Absolutely. Does anyone have a question they'd like to ask?
Don't be shy. If you're shy, ask a question. That's already the first.
Andrew, have a great question.
Ariane, I love meeting you. I've known beautiful Faith, who's involved quite heavily in this space for a long time now. And I remember watching some of these footage and videos nearly 2 years ago and constantly striving to do better and to be involved with Nicole and Jen and Faith and the community. I have a question around, strangely enough, I have been involved with a lot of sex exploitation, child rescue, human trafficking organisations. I've been to lots of fundraisers. I've helped organise them, sell tickets. I want to be careful with my question, but it's more around, how do we know the money's going to where it's meant to go?
Mhm.
And can you help me have some certainty around, I've just written a list of 6 women who have really big networks, and this is really big on their heart. And I'm looking for some, why would this be the organisation they support? What's more powerful about Free a Girl? Like, I know why I think it is, but I'd love to know why you think it is.
Yeah, no, we're completely transparent about the cost and the income, but so we can send all kind of documentation about that. But I think the big change is that we really work continuously with partner organizations, and we have our own team. And lots of organizations, they fly in a team, they go after maybe 1 or 2 rescue operations, and then they move out again. So that's the big change. And we've been doing it already since 2008 for 17 years. So we have a big network. We have lots of informants, because you need informants to be at the place all the time. And we work with local partners, so it's much easier for us to disguise as customers, as people who are going after the girls or after the boys nowadays. So yeah, I think that's the biggest, how you say it, difference than with OUR, for example, in America or other organizations. We are at the place for many years. We know the situation. Sometimes we also, of course, make mistakes. We are open about our mistakes. We're not the heroes or the cowboys. And money-wise, yeah, in the Netherlands, we just have the regulations about how much money you can spend on overhead and how much money you can spend on and really on the programs, and we are really low in our costs. We have lots of volunteers, but of course also some people who really work for the organization and have an income, because to have good people, sometimes you need to pay for people, because otherwise you never have a good marketing. But we work together with lots of people who give things for free, lots of big marketing organizations, audio, visual, these kind of things. We try always to look at the cost, but yeah, we're also open about the cost we're making. So yeah, I don't know if that's a real answer to your question, but yeah, that's it. Many years already at the ground. That's I think the big difference, and continuously rescuing people instead of every now and then making a change. We make the change already. Yeah, it's more than 8,000 girls. It's really quite a lot of changes we made.
Thank you. And one more question. Other than rescue, is there any way you can foresee how we start to put an end to this kind of cruelty?
It's a lot about prevention and poverty, of course. There's always a hope. Lots of children are not kidnapped, but given away, basically, and not sold. But for example, you're a poor family in Nepal, and someone comes to your house like, "Oh, I've been following your child at school. She's so smart. There's a fantastic school in New Delhi, and we offer your girl a grant to go to New Delhi." And then the parents think, "Wow, that's a nice future for my child," and then they end up somewhere in a basement or a hotel. So it's this. Poverty is the biggest one, but then also the prevention from not from us as people from the West, but that the girls who've been through this hell, that they share the story, that they know how to prevent. They've been there, so they can really make the change. So I think that's also what we do. Lots of trying to not everyone wants to share their story, of course. If you're, it's not something to be proud of that you want to share. I've been abused for 5 years, and you have to have lots of courage and strength to be one of those girls who want to go to TV or in the local press to share their stories. But their stories are much more stronger to to make other girls and families realize, yeah, I have to watch out for all those, stories that there's the grass is greener in India, or going from Bangladesh to India. So or even in Thailand, there's people always think the parents sell them, but it's most of the time it's because they want a better future for their children, and so these stories we have to make sure that people don't believe in those stories anymore, and that's painful because. In the old days, we called it child prostitution, but then this word prostitution is, of course, that people choose for it themselves. But not a single child chooses for exploitation of their bodies and their minds. So we also have to share those stories that it's not their fault. It's not the fault of the family. It's the fault of the system. And yeah, that's sometimes still, even nowadays, when we use completely other terms, lots of people still think it's there to blame. Themselves, but of course they're not to blame. So that's why we have to spread the word, and so that's what we're doing, of course. And but it's such a hard fight because it's such a big industry, and of course children are much easier to handle than adults. For example, lots of small girls from India, from Nepal, they go to India, for example. And then you start wondering why, because they say, they don't speak the language, they look a bit maybe more different than Indian girls, so they're more popular. But they are easy to handle. That's what we hear. And how bad is that to hear that? We take those small girls because they're not strong enough, they don't know where they're from, they don't speak the language, so they don't have anything where they can fight for themselves. That's horrible. Yeah, sorry for.
Yeah. I remember watching, and if you haven't watched it, the movie Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
And I remember it might have been like part of the ending of it, but and it just hit me like a train when it said, this is the largest business in the world. This is a business larger than the drug industry, because a child, well, once you sell that bag of drugs and someone takes it, it is gone. But a little girl, well, she can have 10 to 12 customers a day. And it just, the sickness, it's in your stomach. It's, it really hits you. But it just reminded me of that when you said really what it is and the system and the business behind it. And this is the biggest business in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to realize some girls really die because of HIV or any other diseases. Then they're buried somewhere and no one knows where they are, and it's really horrible. It's not, there's no romance in it at all, and no, they are not to blame, definitely, and even the parents are not. Most of them are not to blame. So we have to take this blaming away. I don't understand it, but even in when I'm sharing my story, sometimes people come up, it's their own mistake, they make the wrong choices. But as a child, you need to be protected from not making these kind of decisions. And parents, we can also try to educate the parents, of course. Like you said, I think Jen or Nick, if it's your own child, you would do everything to make the change. And for example, my parents, they did everything. They went to the Prime Minister, of course, in the Netherlands, but they went to the Pope, even though they're not Catholic. They went to see Gorbachev. I don't know if you still remember the old guy from the Soviet Union. And then and of course I had hoped that they would do so much, but they also explained it to me like, if you come, what should we tell you if we come back? And we said, for 20 months we were just sitting on the couch watching TV. That's not a good answer. And even if I would have died, they could have said to themselves, we did everything to try to rescue him. And of course, those parents also try, but you have to realize if you're a farmer somewhere in Nepal, you don't have the power, you don't have the connection. And like Nick is saying, we all have the connections, and maybe we know some people who are really big and are really rich and really have a big network or influencer with millions of followers. We have this network, but we should make it open, and we should fight for it, because the other ones can't fight. Sometimes you have to fight someone else's fight. I feel like a how you call it, a preacher sometimes.
No, it's been excellent, Ariane. Thank you so much. I think if we're good, we might say a final few words to close. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, let me bring this up, ladies, and we just want to leave you with a couple of things, just one thing really to think about and remind yourself. Can you see that, Jen? I might get you to read through it.
So I'm going to read this and we can close out at the end of this. But before I do, Ariane, I just want to say a huge, massive thank you to you for your time this morning over there at home. And we just, if it wasn't for you and the other founders of spaces like Free Girl, there wouldn't be anything. And for me, it just feels like, wow. I'm starting my own not-for-profit, which is in animal rescue, and it's a big undertaking, right? Like to actually be the one doing all of that, and it's the easy part is to find the money and bring the people to find more money. That's kind of so you guys do all the hard work and you face all the darkness and the reality of the work that you're doing. And so I just wanted to express my gratitude to you for that. And I know we'll talk again soon. And
perfect. Yeah, thanks for the invitation and all the good work you're doing, because you're trying to open your network to us and the fight. So that's fantastic. Really, thank you.
Thank you. So I'm gonna read this because Women to Wealth is a space, and we have some programs in it. And Nick and I decided a little while ago that we will take nothing from Women to Wealth. We donate 100% of profits, any program profits from our education programs, to Free Girl. So it's really a community. It's so much bigger. It's a swelling of potential and contribution and making a difference. So I'm going to read this and then we can go. So the Women to Wealth Declaration is this: the majority of women are blessed with abundance, but live in self-imposed scarcity. Never have education, resources, and support been more plentiful, or potential can be activated and impact amplified with relative ease. Yet so many women stay stuck, crippled by indecision, living and playing small, hoping for better, praying that something will save them from their comfortable nightmare. All the while, a minority live in terror, forced to endure extreme scarcity, face the horrors of poverty and war, survive violence, exploitation, and abuse on a daily basis, hoping for better, praying that someone will save them from an unthinkable reality. We believe that the majority, free from terror and surrounded by opportunity, are duty-bound, not to waste, but to activate and amplify their potential, to raise the standard of work, wealth, and purpose for themselves and positively impact society. We are Women to Wealth, committed to empowering all women to question ordinary through education, connection, and contribution. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thanks, Ariane. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Jen.
Thanks,
Nick,
everyone.
all other ladies. Good luck and thanks for taking your time also for Free Girl. Thank you.
Thank you.